What's up, guys? Dylon here, and today we're going to be talking about pig butchering. So like, comment, share, subscribe, and let's get into this video. So pig butchering, this is relevant especially in the online space and especially in the Bitcoin and crypto worlds. I got my Bitcoin hat here. This really frustrates. It's, it frustrates. It's sad when this happens. And I'm making this video because I want you to be aware of this because I don't want this to happen to you. I don't want this to happen to anyone. And the people that do this it's terrible. So let me tell you a quick story and then I'll tell you what pig butchering is and we'll go through the article. But so I do stuff with Bitcoin and crypto and that kind of stuff, marketing online, and I have a decent followers on my Instagram. And what happens is you have these accounts what they'll do is they'll just spin up a copy account of you. And before crypto and all that kind of stuff, it's like, oh, hey, look, they just like me so much they have an account that's mimicking me or they're pretending to be me. I've had people pretend to be me on dating apps and all that kind of stuff in the past, or just like, pretended to be my profile. So they would just like copy my photos and that would be their online profile. That's how they would get validation or what. That was several years ago. Obviously, I don't want people pretending to be me. So don't pretend to me. That's not okay. That's illegal. But in the past, there wasn't, I didn't see a bunch of cases where there was like extreme malicious intent. It looked like someone who liked my persona and wanted to be me online, which is weird to think about. Well, it's a big world and there's weird people out there. So they wanted to be me online. And so they were just acting like a normal person online, but it was me that they were acting like and it wasn't me. So that was the problem. But a few years ago, when I started doing more stuff in the crypto space and being public about that, what happened is I got a bunch of accounts that kept spinning up that were basically exact copies of my account. And they would go and message my followers and they would reach out to my followers and then people that knew me would message me, hey, is this your account? Did you have another account? And they'd be really confused and concerned. And it blew my mind how many people actually like engage with these fake accounts of me. And I mean, do more outreach with in my social media. Cause like what happened is the fake account that looked like me, they would reach out to my followers and they'd say something like, hey, how's it going? Just a simple message like that. And then when the follower would engage, right, then they'd start a conversation. Then they'd always bring it back to, hey, how's your trade? Hey, are you doing anything with Bitcoin? They steer the conversation back to something like crypto or Bitcoin in this incident. It can be other investment things and stuff like that, which this article will probably talk about, but they spin it back to that. And then what happens is the person thinks they're in dialogue with you, right? They thought they're having a conversation with me because it has all my pictures. The only problem is it wasn't me. And it was these scammers out there. And what they'll do is they'll lead you through this conversation and they have follow-up systems in place. Like it's like a sales team that they use. There's probably someone over in another country teaching a course on how to do this to bunches of people. I wouldn't doubt it. There's probably people that have like call centers or little like computer studios that this is all they do. They spin up accounts and they just follow up with people to try and get their money. Because basically what they do is they will have a conversation with you and then they'll try to steer you to investing with them. And so that's why I pick people like myself who are publicly spoken about Bitcoin and crypto and stuff like that. I don't, by the way, like just a disclaimer, always do your own research. None of this is financial advice. I will never invest money for you. I will never ask you for money to invest with me or anything like that. I never do that. If I'm going to work with someone one-on-one, I'm going to work with someone at all in this space, I'll call you and do video calls with you or do it in person. It's actually me. And you have to be wary of calls today because with AI and copying voices, that's a new scam that's out there where they'll use AI, your voice, use AI to clone it, and they'll have people call and try to engage people in conversations to get them to give them their funds and stuff like that, which is not good. It's not good. So anyways, the pig butchering is basically what they do is they get you to, they get you to send money to them and they'll walk you through a process. And oftentimes they'll charge you a fee. And how do I know all this? One, I've researched it because it's something to be aware of in the space. But two, I had an acquaintance come up to me at a bar once a couple years ago, and she was like, "Yeah, so I'm so excited, like for the returns and everything that we've been working on with crypto." I'm like, "What are you talking about?" She's like, "You've been helping me invest my crypto. Like we've been talking for 2 weeks, and we've never had a conversation." And I had never had a conversation with this lady about crypto, Bitcoin, or anything. What had happened was she was following me on Instagram. One of these fake accounts started messaging her. She suspended her disbelief because that's what they do. That's why they have your images and stuff like that. I'll tell you how to spot them in a second here. So it suspended her disbelief. So she thought she was actually talking to me. They had the 2-week-long conversation. It got off of Facebook onto WhatsApp, or off of Instagram onto WhatsApp, which is generally how they do that. And she had ended up sending this account $5,000 to $6,000. And so when I heard it, I was just devastated because there was nothing I could do. If she had actually had a conversation with me, a real life conversation versus these text conversations online, I could have saved her thousands of dollars. I could have prevented her from doing that, but she didn't. And so it's one of these things these scams play on is they play on like just ignorance, but they also play on like individual human nature and greed. And so that's how they get you. And what they do is they get your funds into what looks like to be a normal account, and you can spin these things up. And so you send your funds to this account, and thinking that it's an account that like you both control, you can get your stuff out of there, but it's not. It's a one-way ticket. And basically they just have a program that runs that basically that will add percentage gains to your investment. So it makes it look like you're gaining money. And then reality, there's no money there because the money's been taken. You're not getting any returns. And so what happens is people will go and they'll think for months they're doing well. And what will happen is if the scammers haven't been found out, they'll hit you back up and be like, hey, like your position's doing good. You want to add more money. Okay. And then you send them more money, the process repeats, and they just keep taking your money and they show that your investment is growing. And then finally, when you get tipped off, when you have a conversation, when you show someone and someone's like, hey, that's not real or that's not legit, what happens is that then you go to the scammer because like you're in disbelief. You're like, oh, I want to get my money out. And the scammer's, oh, no, we can't get it out yet, but you got to wait a week. Then you wait a week and then you come back, hey, I want to get my money out. And the scammer's like, okay, in order to get your money out, you got to send me like $1,000 to unlock it or whatnot. So they always request another fee to get your money out of the account. And if you're ever in that situation, don't ever pay that fee. People are like, okay, I got $5,000 in this account. They're asking for $500. I would lose $500 to get 5,000. If it's a scam, it's a scam. I lose 500 extra bucks, but don't do that. You're just paying them more money. Okay. Because that's the logic. That's the justification people say. What if it isn't a scam? What if they just need the money to get the funds out of the account? And that's where they get you. That's where they catch you. And that's how they get more money on top of all the money you've already sent them and you've already lost. So if you're ever in that situation, I'm very sorry. Your money's gone. There's no way to get it back. Contact the authorities. Maybe they can do something on their end. But in general, there's no way to get it back because it's already been taken. It's already been spent. It's already gone. Don't ever send them money to release your funds. No legitimate account, no legitimate source, no legitimate any sort of investment is going to require you to just send money to unlock your funds. That's not how it's going to work. And so if you're in a position, I'm really sorry, but you just need to accept the loss. You need to report those accounts. You need to report that to the authorities and just move on. It's really devastating. And there's people that have lost hundreds of thousands of dollars doing this. And my acquaintance, a friend, losing 5-6 grand, that's a lot of money. But someone losing 100 grand or more, oh my gosh, especially now at the beginning of a bull run, and you put money in that could be just growing just because we're about to enter this massive, at least this is what I believe, obviously not financial advice, this bull run, man, you're losing even more than what the dollar amount says. So let's get into this article. I know I've explained this a lot, but this article has been published for a reason. It was on Monday. With pig butchering scams on the rise, FBI moves to stop the bleeding. She called herself Anna. She reached out to Barry May over social media, Facebook, Asian woman. Oftentimes it's an Asian woman. So what these guys will do is they'll use a story. They'll also be on dating apps. Right? So if you see foreign women on dating apps, what happens is they'll engage you like a real person because often it's a real person there. It's just a dude in a computer room somewhere in the world. And they'll want to they'll say they're like new to the country or they'll want to get your conversation over on WhatsApp. And they'll just engage you normally. And then they'll mention, hey, I do this on the side, this hobby. I have this cryptocurrency trading, or I run this hedge fund or whatnot. They'll start bringing financial topics into the conversation and in an organic, a semi-organic manner. And so what happens is that you think they're real, right? They're preying on men. I don't want to just want to blast Barry here because it's just so sad. He lost $500,000. But what they do is, no secret in today's, if you listen to content online, it's been heating up on this, have ever been anything in the RP space, but there's a stat that's going around that says 30% of men under the age of 30, or between the age of 18 and 30, haven't had sex or are virgins in the past year. And so it's no secret that men are having a harder time attracting women's attention. And it's also no secret that men have a really high desire for women's attention, and that women have been using their feminine wiles to manipulate and deceive men for good reasons and bad reasons throughout history. No secret there. And so these guys play on that human nature. Okay? They play on the trends. They play on that biological nature of people. And so in this case, it says he met this woman, she's probably attractive. They're having conversation. If you've ever been, if you're a man and you've been on a dating app, how hard it is to meet if a woman that is attractive that like you can actually have a conversation with. It's not easy doing that. And I have had relatively good luck on dating apps. I know that about myself that like I'm privileged in that manner due to like genetics and life choices and all that kind of stuff. That not every guy out there, the average guy out there, is probably not getting the same level of conversation, amount of conversations on those dating apps and in the real world. It's if you're a guy like that, you're a perfect target because you're craving that attention, you're lonely, or you're craving that connection, and you think you got it, right? You think we live in a connected world, and this attractive girl who's just she's just so she's into you, she's curious, it's exciting, and so you start this conversation, and she turns it to like this investment thing. You think you can trust her, you think you can know her, you think she's real, and meanwhile, this whole time, what happens in these conversations is if you push for actual signs of identity confirmation, which is what you should always do if you're ever meeting someone online, you need to determine that they're real. So there should be no friction requesting a FaceTime call or anything like that, a video call, a normal phone call. I prefer an actual video call with the person. If you're ever going to meet someone online, and this is my recommendation, again, video calls are really hard to fake and have them, or if you are asking for a photo, if they don't do video, they got to hold up a piece of paper with handwritten your name and date on there. This is I know it seems like that sounds lame and not sexy, or it just sounds weird to request that, or like you'd be offending the person. A normal person would not be offended for you saying, hey, let me know that you're real. If they're actually genuinely interested in having a conversation or connection with you, if there's someone that you're looking to work with, obviously they won't be offended. They'll prefer that like you have a real conversation. But this process is actually what they use for a lot of the KYC and know your customer requirements for a lot of these online crypto or Bitcoin platforms. Is they'll have you take a photo and they'll have you, hey, they'll send you a code in the process and they'll have you take a photo with the code on a piece of paper. So your face, your ID, and the code on a piece of paper. So they have a real image of you that corresponds to their database for your ID and all that kind of stuff, so that you can't fake someone else's identity and steal funds and all that kind of stuff. That process, those processes are in place on the platforms for a reason. And they haven't really trickled down to the platforms like the dating apps and stuff like that for themselves. But you can employ those tactics in your real life if you are engaging with people online. And especially if there's any sort of money ever involved, that should be a red flag. You should go through this process. You should get other people involved. You probably should stop talking to the person if like you've never met them and they start talking about money and things like that. It's a scam, right? There's a common joke that's like if a hot girl messages you on Instagram or online and wants to know about crypto, that's not a girl, that's a dude, right? It's just a guy in a computer room looking to scam you. And there could be women that are doing that too. It's not just men that can be the scammers in this, it can be anyone. But the whole thing is the person real you're interacting with. It starts out May 62. So we had a 62-year-old man who is probably looking for love and connection. We're human beings. We all want love and connection. We all need that love and connection from another human being. And unfortunately, in the world, there's a lot of people out there that don't have that or haven't positioned themselves to be able to create those opportunities, or they went through things in their life like a divorce or someone died or something like that, and they're craving that. And so these are vulnerable people. And so when you're in that state of needing that love and connection, it's sad. There's people out there that will prey on that, and you just have to know. But so it says this guy was enticed by the prospect of romance and riches, coaxed over LinkedIn and WhatsApp. So it can be any social platform where this happens. And he sent his money over to this person, and the money's gone. And this statement says it's a sophisticated con. You can see that because the long-term con, said James Barnacle, right, who runs FBI's financial crimes section. Barnacle said people from all walks of life have fallen victim to this scam, which is typically run by organized criminal groups based in Southeast Asia. I guess they probably have computer rooms, teach them how to do this kind of stuff. And workers who have been trafficked into forced labor, they can do that. The gang carefully research their victims and spend months or years gaining their trust. Often they allow victims to withdraw large sums of money to boost their confidence that the investment scheme is on that level. Yeah, so they will target you, right? So they will try to look at things that tie your identity. They will search your Facebook, search your Instagram, see if you have nice things, nice house, nice cars. They'll have a profile on you. That's what these people are doing. And they have time, right? They're just doing market research. And all this stuff's online. All that things that you put online that can be found out, right? It's just terrible. And so it says in 2023, we saw well over 3.5 billion of reported losses and over around 40,000 victims. And that's just reported. There's probably a lot more that don't report because of shit, guilt, and all that kind of stuff. Imagine you being married and then you sending 500 grand to a girl that you think is going to love you because you're having a satisfied marriage, or a guy, could be girl, guy. The sex doesn't matter as much, but generally I think it can target men in that case. But imagine sending that money and then it being a scam, and you don't want to let your spouse know. Hey, if you don't have to, just because of the shame and all that kind of stuff. So there's a lot of stuff that isn't reporting, and there's a lot of smaller amounts that like people just, okay, it's a lot, but it's 5, 6 grand. It's a lot, but it's not quite enough to like really go out of my way to start an investigation, all that kind of stuff. It's just terrible. This is what this person's saying is, it says Claudio Quiroz or Heroes, who directs the Justice Department's cryptocurrency enforcement unit. People feel like they're alone. How could they have fallen for this? I would just say this individuals are not alone. This is very prolific. Reach out to law enforcement. Yeah, it's okay if this has happened to you. You don't need to feel shamed or anything about this, because what happens is these guys, the guys that are perpetrating this scam, like I've said, they target victims, they target vulnerable people. Okay, so there's no shame in being a vulnerable person. There's no shame of having things that happen to your life that like put you in a more vulnerable state. Okay, there's shame if you don't ever get out of that state, but you're in a vulnerable position. It's life. We're all vulnerable at periods of time. Like I broke my arm, so there's like I'm probably vulnerable now. If I have, especially over the past couple of weeks, with totally breaking my arm and not be able to use it. It happens. That's life. So there's no shame in that. These people are professionals at targeting and manipulating vulnerable people. So it's a human nature thing. So people think, oh my gosh, this happens to me, like I'm stupid. This happens to some smart people. It's happened to experts in the crypto space that I know, because it preys on human nature. This goes down. And we're all susceptible to scams and cons and things that prey on our human nature. It's unbelievable, right? How sophisticated the sales and marketing tactics can be and propaganda can be that preys on your human nature, because it bypasses your critical thinking. It goes straight to that animal brain that you have. That's what makes some of that stuff work. And there's really not much you can do about it other than being aware and putting things in place in practice that prevents your animal brain overriding your critical thinking brain. And so you need to have things in place, right? So if we keep going down here, fortunately for Barry May, the FBI phone call stops him from going deeper into debt. He was about to get a loan from his credit union, okay, to be at good standing. And obviously they said, don't do that. Most of the agents told him most of his money had gone for good. Okay, so once this happens, your money's gone for good. Man, he's at 10,000 left to his name. These people don't care, okay? They don't care. I saw this in the conversation with my acquaintance. She showed me the text. And she said, this is all the money I have, like in my bank account. And they're like, no, that's fine. You just send it anyways. You'll be fine. We'll take care of you. So they didn't care that it was all the money she had. They were just going to take it all. That's what they're going to do. And it's terrible. Like, this is evil stuff. It's just so frustrating that this is the thing. And just know that if this is happening or someone's account reaches out, one way to identify these scammers, like I said, if they're on a dating app, if they're a hot foreign woman, if you're a guy out there using a dating app that wants to move conversation to WhatsApp, just assume it's a scam. Assume someone is not real until they prove that they are real. One of the telltale signs that someone has a fake account that is not a real account online is, one, if they're a really attractive woman. Unfortunately, this is common. If they're a really attractive woman that doesn't have any tag photos or has a private account, that's a telltale sign. I know for myself, when they copy my account, they'll try to use a similar username as mine, but so my Instagram is Dylan M. Bradley. They'll put like Dylan M. Bradley with 2 L's, right? Or MN Bradley, or they'll change the middle initial. So it looks almost like my Instagram handle, but there's a letter change. They'll put an underscore there. So they do slight variations. I've seen them all, right? They just cycle through these different username variations, but none of them ever have tagged photos. So that's the thing. Like if you ever get an account that looks like me that's reaching out to you and messaging you, and you want to verify it's real, the first step you can take is, if it's private, hey, just ignore it. Whatever, private account, don't worry about it. Unless if you know me personally, that's my account. But if it isn't, or you can see it, what you can do is check the tagged photos. If it doesn't have any tag photos, it's not a real account. Real accounts have tag photos. People have friends. People have done things. If you don't have tag photos, maybe you should make sure you get some so that people don't think you're a scammer, that don't think you have a fake account. So check the tag photos. And then if you ever engage in conversation with the account, one surefire way to know, or to call yourself out in the way they get you, is you have these phones. A notification pops up on your phone and it has the image of a person who looks like me or someone else, or your favorite influencer or YouTuber or whatnot. And you're like, oh my God, this person's reaching out. They're talking to me. They saw that I like their post. They saw that I've been commenting on their posts, or I've been following for years. That's the thoughts that might be going through your mind. And so, or you're like, oh, I'm curious, this person sent a message. So you get the notification and you're out and about, you're walking on the street, or you're in the grocery store, or you're at your job, taking a break. Click on the notification. Okay? What that does is you're in a chaotic emotional state when that happens. And so reduces your ability to engage critical thinking. So you just assume it's the real person, right? So you make that initial assumption. So when you engage in conversation, you've already assumed that the person you're talking to is legit and real. So that's how they get you. So don't open links, don't open messages when you're in a chaotic environment. And if you do, it's not the end of the world, whatever. Don't click on links, but just go and check out their profile. You got to be an internet sleuth and got to check these people out that are messaging. If they're legit, make sure that they are real before engaging in any sort of conversation with you, and you'll prevent a lot of these scenarios, a lot of these situations. And if it's too good to be true, it's too good to be true. 30% returns, you'd have the best. If someone could get consistent 30% returns, you'd have the best performing hedge fund in the world. You'd be amazing. Okay, 10%, 7 to 10% is the S&P 500. Like just putting your money in there. So people look to make 20% when they invest their money. Making much more than that is darn near impossible. Extreme levels of risk for that. And so someone coming and promising you that is an immediate red flag, especially someone you've never met online. No, never send these large amounts of money. I can't say this to these people online. It's just terrible. That's enough of the rant. Obviously, I'm passionate about this, but I don't want you to fall victim to this. I don't want this to be a problem in your life. It's just terrible. It's super destructive. And so just watch out for this. And this stuff is going to rise. Just be careful out there. Avoid these scams online. Don't be a sucker. Don't make yourself a target. Okay. Be aware. Have your eyes open. Have your head up. Don't have your eyes closed. Don't have your head down. Right. Just be aware of these things. By being aware, you can prevent this from happening to yourself or loved ones. So anyways, that's it for this video. Let me know if you have any comments about this. Like, comment, share, subscribe, and I'll catch you in the next one. Peace.